All right, today we are planting the very last of our dahlias that we're growing from seed, and I thought you find it interesting. And I also wanted to give you a little update on the dahlia field that we planted a few weeks ago, which I shared a video about. So dahlias can be grown a couple of different ways. You can grow them from tuber, but a lot of people don't know that you can actually grow them from seed, but there's a big difference. So a tuber looks like a little potato. They come in all shapes and sizes, and then you can see these little sprouts are starting to emerge from what are called eyes. So in order for a tuber to be viable, it has to have a good body, a strong neck that's not broken, and then eyes that are going to sprout out. And those are going to be what make the plant. So we bury a tuber in the ground, it sends up a shoot, and that is going to be the plant that eventually flowers. So tubers, in the spring, you plant a single tuber, and by the autumn, you're able to dig up a clump, and you can get anywhere between 3 and up to 10 tubers from that clump. So they multiply very rapidly. And each tuber that comes off of that clump is going to be a clone of that original mother plant. Now, seeds are completely different. So say I've got this tuber, I plant it, I let it go to flower, I let the bees pollinate it, I don't pick the flower, and I let that seed head mature and ripen, and I collect those seeds. The next spring, I can sow those seeds, but what's crazy is that every single seed within a pod, even though it comes from the tuber, they're all together in the pod, every one of those seeds is going to be unique and different from the others. And so that is how new varieties are born. So we can clone the old one, or we can give birth to the new one. And so these are Dahlia seedlings, and these were all collected from a variety called Floret. That's one of our breeding varieties. And so I'm going to plant these out today. So I wanted to give you a little peek over into the dahlias we planted a couple weeks ago so you can see how their progress is going, and then show you the little seedling patch and how close we plant them, and kind of our process for that. Okay, so this is the dahlia breeding patch. So there's a lot of rows going that way, and I've got some rows behind me, but we planted this about 3 weeks ago, a little earlier than most folks in our area, but we've done it for enough years. We know we can get them in the ground early. So they're doing well. They are having a great time, and you can see they're just about to the stage that we're gonna want to pinch them. So we'll come through here, do a quick weed, and then pinch probably in the next week. So pinching is the process of taking out that central growing tip, and what it does is it encourages a plant that is multi-branching to start branching from the base and produce more flowers. So if you can compare the number of flowers you get from an unpinched dahlia versus a pinched dahlia, you'll get 2 to 3 times as many blooms over the long haul of the season. So if you want to learn how to do pinching in our summer mini course, which is going to be starting any day, I have a whole video on all the flowers that I like to pinch, and it includes a printable guide of what to pinch and what not to pinch, and I'll show you how to do it. It's free to take, but it's very helpful, and because it's a hard process to do. So you can see these guys are nice and bushy and green, just needing to be pinched, and then these guys, planted on the exact same day, are a little slower to come, but they're coming along. So everywhere there's the metal pipe starts a new variety, and for the breeding, we're growing about 20 of each variety to then see how they're doing, put them through the paces, and just continue to evaluate them. So on that half of the field over there where you can see the fabric and the pathways, that's where we're growing all of the known varieties that are a part of the breeding program, but those guys are all grown from tubers. Now this section of the field is where we're growing all the seedlings. So every one of these plants is going to be different, and I don't know what I'm gonna get. And it's so exciting. So we grow our seedling dahlias much closer together than you would think you could. So we space them roughly 8 inches apart. We have 5 rows in a bed, a 4-foot wide bed. We put in 5 rows, and then between the plants, we only space them 4 inches apart. And you would think you couldn't grow them this way, but this is actually my preferred method, because when it comes to seedlings, you're not going to keep everything for the long haul. You'll grow it this season, but very few of them probably are going to make the cut, and then you're going to grow them again next year. So when you find a variety you like, in the fall, you're going to dig up those tubers, and then you're going to be able to multiply them, and then they'll become clones of that plant. So it's pretty wild. You start them from seed, but by the season's end, they'll make this little tiny clump of tubers. And so when you find one you like, you can save it. It's really cool. So We have seedlings from a lot of different parents. We're doing a lot of experimentation to understand better how traits are inherited, color, form, that type of thing. So this entire bed, these are all seedlings from a variety called Orange Hype, which is this really interesting iridescent kind of orange with a lavender wash collarette. Then we've got a whole bed of seedlings of rhubarb and custard, which is another beautiful collarette. I'm working on breeding collarettes that have a longer vase life. Then this is a bed of mixed open center varieties, so things we collected just off of a random mix. Here we've got collarette types. And then we also have seedlings that were collected from different breeding varieties like F109. So everywhere there is a metal pipe and those white signs, that is where a new group of plants, the seed was collected from a different parent. And so you can see we have a wide variety of stuff happening in here. And I'm really excited to see what we discover. Okay, so this is a bed of, these are what we call the petite florets. And these are all babies that were grown from seed collected from a variety called Floret. So if you got any dahlia seeds from us in our last seed sale and you got the petite florets, we're growing the same babies as you are. And what I've found is Floret is the most amazing mother, and for some reason produces so many keepers or beautiful varieties in the seed that she produces. And so I'm really excited to see what these guys look like. So you can see that we're putting them really close together, right? So this bed was prepared by putting down a nice thick layer of compost, natural fertilizer. We either use Walt's Rainy Pacific Northwest blend because it's a locally available mix and we love the company, but if you can't find that, we also use Nature's Intent, basically just some kind of general balanced organic fertilizer made from natural ingredients. So that's all tilled into the soil. Then we put down drip irrigation. You definitely don't have to have drip, but we like to use it so that we conserve water, and we have very sandy soil. So we put down 4 lines of drip irrigation, and then we're essentially putting a row of dahlias in between each line of drip so everything gets nice and well watered. And the plants you can see are, I'd say 4 to 6 inches apart. Doesn't have to be exact. You can certainly space your dahlias a lot farther apart if you want to, but if you're limited on space, you can cram these babies a lot closer than you think. So here is what a little plug looks like. These guys are about, I'd say probably 10 weeks old. And you can see they're already starting to form what look like little baby tubers. So you want to wait until all danger of frost has passed before you plant your dahlias into the ground. They can't handle any cold. So that's really important. And then they're very easy to plant. So you can just see, I'm just going to go in just like I would with anything else. Now we don't grow seedlings in fabric. We grow them straight in the dirt because we will be digging the tubers of the ones that are keepers. So I'm just going through. Our soil is pretty sandy and loose, and just planting these guys in the ground. I mean, dahlias from seed are one of the easiest things to grow, and they are so much fun because you don't know what you're gonna get. So I'll just keep planting these guys, get this whole bed in, and then we will come back to this space later on in the summer when everything is blooming. I'll show you the difference between the different little batches of seeds and who their parents were. And I'll show you like, okay, here's a handful of mama, and then these are all the babies, and look at the similarities or the differences. It's gonna be really cool. So if you haven't grown dahlias from seed before, I definitely recommend giving it a try. Our summer mini course is running. It's gonna be going for the next couple of months. So if you wanna join that, there's a link below this video, and it's free to take. And it has 3 really helpful videos in it. And then later on in the summer, kind of as we get towards fall, we're also going to be doing another free mini course about seed saving. And I'll show you how to save dahlias from seed if you want to try this at home.